Welcome back, everyone, to Uncaged Leaders. I'm your hostess, Mariquita Solis, the Uncaged Heart Coach. This show is dedicated to the successful man who's ready to end that soul war and build a life of courage and purpose, living in authenticity. So, today, speaking of authenticity, we have the king of authenticity here, Andy Grant. Andy is a best selling author, speaker, transformational coach, energy healer, and suicide prevention activist. As the host of the award winning Real Men Feel podcast, he champions emotional well being and encourages men to step out of the emotional closet. Andy holds certifications in positive psychology, the Enwaken Coaching System, life activation, and multiple energy healing modalities. Known as the King of Authenticity, he founded Real Men Feel in 2016, fostering a movement that redefines masculinity through openness and vulnerability. As a certified healer, teacher, and ritual master with the Modern Mystery School, Andy has dedicated his life to helping people in emotional pain rediscover the magnificence of life. So, welcome, Andy. I'm very excited to have your powerful energy here, energy that's powerful but also sensitive. And I feel like maybe I shouldn't say that, but I think I'm safe to say that with you.
You are. And it's funny, that's a term. If I call myself sensitive, it feels fine. But when I hear someone say that about me, it still feels like it's an insult. So it's weird.
No, I know. We're caught up in that trap. I'm like, oh, better not say that. But no, it's okay. We're
yeah.
breaking out of it. All right. Thanks for watching, JJ. I see that JJ, my friend, is here watching us. I was telling her that I'm going to have this powerhouse on. She better get on the stick here. So anyway, all right. So yes, Real Men Feel. Let's talk about that. And let's talk. I love to talk about childhood experiences because a lot of times men are not aware that their wounds and the way that they're sabotaging relationships in their life are because of childhood wounds. So, what was it like for you as a boy growing up? And did you have positive male role models in your life?
Probably not. Well, I had people that tried. So anyway, my parents were high school sweethearts. My mom got pregnant while they were in college, so they got married, had me, got divorced when I was around 5 years old. I have no memory of them together. So growing up, I always thought they got divorced like in 5 months because I just had no memory of a family. But it was very acrimonious. My first memory of my dad is being at the front door with police and lawyers demanding to see me. So they were fighting over custody of me. There were court issues. So while this turmoil was happening around age 5, my next door neighbor, an adult man, started to molest me.
Oh.
And I thought, people had told me, you're the man of the house now. So I knew I had to be a good boy. I don't want to upset my mom. So I decided, and this guy was telling me, keep it quiet too. So I kept it quiet, kept it to myself. But it's at that point that I really decided the world is not safe. I can't trust men. And at the same time, my dad would often say, I'd see my dad just on weekends. He would often say that high school are the best years of your life. Now, as an adult looking back, he was 20 years old saying this. Of course, high school was probably the peak of his life by then. But so I grew up thinking, life sucks. Like, it's a challenge. I can't trust anybody. I got to keep everything to myself. And high school's the best. So why would anyone live beyond that? So in elementary school, I had decided I was not going to live past 18. And my worldview was life sucks, then you die. So did I have positive role models? If I did, I wasn't following them, right?
Yeah, and that's very interesting because someone just came up to me the other night and she said one of the worst things you can say to a little boy is, you're the man of the house now. And little boys take that literally, and what does that do to them? I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, because no one says what man of the house means. So it's up to my little brain to figure it out. And I'm getting it from like sitcoms. And, it's just, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't realistic. But again, I decided I'll be a good boy. Like I excelled in school. I did what I was told. And I didn't share anything that I thought would rock the boat for anybody.
Right. Yeah. And so what about What is it like to be a little boy when you're feeling emotions, big emotions, and you realize that you have to suppress them? I mean, when did you realize that?
Oh, I believe I realized it while it was happening. So it made me think that I was broken, I was flawed. I thought I was more emotional than most people, but it's because I was keeping this trauma in and not sharing it. And I should clarify, I didn't consciously recall the molestation until I was 20 years old and in my fourth mental hospital. And I thought, oh, now I have this memory. Now I'm fine. Right? I remember the cause of everything, so I'm fine. And that just began the years of healing and unpacking. But for a long time, again, between the traumas I lived through and the message from my dad, my worldview that life sucks, I didn't wait till high school to try to end my life. And this is not a path I recommend to anyone, and this is why I speak and share about it. But it took me multiple quote unquote failed suicide attempts before I began to realize that just maybe I'm supposed to be here. Right? I'm not good at living. I'm obviously not good at dying either. So there's got to be another way. And it was after another attempt on my life using a means that already had not worked. So I finally realized I'm just doing the same thing, even though I know it's not going to work. I'm just trapped in this pattern. And I had the real dark night of the soul moment. And for the first time, I felt a different voice in my own head. I was used to the critic, life sucks, kill yourself, get out of here. I was used to that voice. This was much lighter. And it said, if you share your pain, Andy, it'll all be worth it. And I was like, whoa, that's the first time I had this glimmer of hope. And to me, what I thought that meant, I had never shared and opened up anytime I had been with a doctor, with a counselor, hospitalized after a suicide attempt. So I willingly went to a hospital and decided I'm not going to hold anything back. And that's when I had the memory of the molestation. And finally from there, I ended up going to college after I got out of that hospital. So it was really the first time I kind of gave myself a break and allowed myself to begin healing.
Right. Yeah. And shame is a big factor in that. Shame as a little boy. I don't even know. I mean, I remember as a little girl feeling ashamed that I wasn't good enough. And my gosh, I got the message that I needed to be skinny when I was probably, I mean, I don't know how young, but I remember looking at myself in my sixth grade picture thinking I was fat. Now, I was an athlete. I wasn't fat at all. And I look at that picture now and I think, what was I thinking? I mean, that warped this concept and then being put in this, I've got to be pretty. I got to be skinny, and I have to just always put myself last. And for the men, it's shutting down feelings and shame. I felt ashamed that I was fat. Right. And then they would say, oh, boys don't like fat girls. I'll never forget. I mean, that just, boys don't like fat girls. Boys don't like fat girls. Okay. Oh my gosh. And what does that do? That drives you to eat more. So it's a harsh cycle. So if you're watching, let us know you're watching. If you have any questions, just by the way. And, so shame really was a big factor in my life of controlling me. And how did that play out in your life? I mean, when did you first start feeling ashamed? If you did.
Yeah, I know I wasn't conscious of that, but again, I thought I was hopeless, helpless, flawed, and broken. And shame kept me from daring to say that out loud, or I didn't think I was worthy of help. Right? Because my parents loved me. They, as soon as, nobody really wanted to accept how bad I felt, because I was getting straight A's in school. So how can you be suicidal yet still get straight A's? That doesn't make sense. So any excuse I would tell someone, like, I remember a guidance counselor in junior high seeing that I had cut marks on my wrist, and I said, oh, I was making a sandwich and it slipped. I'm like, okay, like people wanted to believe my lies.
Right.
It was easy to navigate until I was, finally sick of it. But yeah, so I wasn't conscious that shame was keeping it in me, but that's certainly what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about people that say that men, like little boys, don't have as much emotions as little girls? And yeah, they just don't feel as much. What would you say about that?
That's a complete fallacy. Take infants, take babies. They equally cry, have the full range. So it's, boys get compressed and told not to. Big boys don't cry. I'll give you something to cry about. I've met men that were punished for crying at age like 7 and 8. It's ridiculous. Before we're men or women, we're human beings, and all human beings have the full range of emotion. It's only society that says this is feminine, this is masculine, but we all have the full range. Different individuals express it different ways. The different genders express it different ways, and men are more likely to keep things to themselves. Women are more likely to seek friendships and share what's going on for them, but that doesn't deny that they exist to begin with.
What makes it so hard for men to open up? What is it? I mean, what are the man? What's the man box? I mean, what are these rules? Because I'm not a man.
Well, nobody's officially told, here's the men box and you're in it. It's society, it's pop culture, it's our older mentors, and it's usually not said out loud, but it's that what I call this distorted stoicism, saying that men aren't supposed to feel. Men are just supposed to provide. We're supposed to do the dirty work and just keep everything to ourselves. And that just makes more unhappy men, in my experience. I want masculinity to be recognized as joyous, right? We are creators and protectors, yes. And that should come with the notion of service and purpose. And, ideally, men feel fulfilled by what they do, not shut down. But the man box is anything that constrains what a man's supposed to do. And that's kind of why I named my podcast Real Men Feel. I thought, like, what if that was a thing? Like, what if you saw a man crying in public, go, wow, look at that real man. That's a brave guy over there. Because often the bravest thing a man can do is ask for help. Right? The bad joke about men is they'll be lost for hours, never ask for directions, right? Because we're not going to ask for help. Where it's ingrained that you should be able to do everything on your own without anybody's help. And the big mask that most men wear is that I'm fine. Don't ask me again. And we're not fine. And it's okay to not be fine.
Yeah, and they apologize for crying. I was so touched to see a video of a man crying, and at the end he said, I'm sorry for the tears. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm loving the tears. Yeah. And then you just said, I'm sorry for the tears, right? Yeah, and it's incredible that, I mean, how can we shut down? I mean, I just gave a talk on the half system. I mean, the system of this is a system, and then to shut down the emotional part of that system. How do you function like that?
Right. Yeah. Emotions are energy in motion. When we try to crush them, stop them, deny them, stifle them, that's where domestic abuse comes from. That's where road rage comes from. Every emotion is going to be felt. When we're willing to feel it in the moment it shows up, we're healthy and flowing. Everything we deny and suppress, it's going to come out sideways at some point in our lives.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. Also, y'all, let me know if you have any questions. So for Andy, how is it going to come out when we think, I mean, let's say men think they can get rid of these emotions. Now, I've heard also that there's this flatness that comes along with that. I mean, what happens when human beings, not just men, but people suppress emotions?
Yeah. At best, you develop apathy. At worst, you're living in anger. You're dealing with rage. You're angry all the time. When a man is angry and is prone to violent outbursts, it's very rare he knows even why, because it's really the fuel from childhood wounds, the fuel from unresolved stuff screaming in his system. But he'll take it out on the person that cut him off, or take it out on the drunk that bumps into him in a bar. Right? Nothing tells us more of how suppressed men are as to how much violence happens when people drink. Because the masks come down and all the suppressed stuff comes out. Like, I know so many men that will only tell people they love them if they're drunk, because they have an excuse. If it's well received, oh great, my buddies know I love them. My family knows I love them. If someone goes, hey, you said you love me. Oh, I was drunk. It wasn't my fault. Right.
Right. Yeah. Right. That toughness. Right. And then I know Judy Chu in her book, who's a researcher, she talks about the little boys and how, I mean, they want to be more emotionally, they want to keep that emotional side up, but they've learned that they have to be harsh. And they say, I have to hurt, which is, and these are tiny little boys, 5 and 6 years old. It is very, it's shocking to believe that that age, that's the message they're getting. And what can we do? I mean, how are human beings, men, women, any kind of human being, how are we perpetuating that? And what can we do differently?
So for children, it's tough. I can only teach the adults. But when I'm talking to men, I ask, if the person you learned what it means to be a man from is a miserable bastard, why would you want to follow that? Right? So everyone's awareness has to rise. And anytime someone is saying you shouldn't feel anything, X, Y, Z, whatever, you shouldn't feel blank, that's building the box. And no one belongs in a box. And, whatever a man does, that's what men do, right? There's not some limitation to it. Whatever I choose to do, if I want to show up in this interview wearing a dress as a pink ballerina, like whatever I want to do, then that's what a man does. Right. Because I'm comfortable. But as a kid, even as a teen, even as a young adult, I was very scared of like, oh, is this masculine enough? Like, am I a man? Am I man enough? Can I do this? Is this okay to do that thing, or eat quiche or wear pink or whatever the thing is? Cry. But vulnerability is a powerful gift for all human beings. Too many men think vulnerability is a weakness. But you were saying earlier that you love to see a guy who cries. And a guy being willing to cry doesn't mean I'm saying you should be bawling all the time. No, only when it's really there, right? When you're dealing with grief, when you're dealing with loss, a job loss, a pet loss. That's one of the very few places in our society are men allowed to have sadness and tears. One is the loss of their dog. That will bring men together like nothing else. Another is being on your sports team. When you're surrounded by other men playing a game and you win, you're allowed to cry. When you're surrounded by men playing a game and you lose, you're allowed to cry. Anything in between that, anything non-game related, is somehow not allowed. So all of these unrealized rules, all of the walls of this man box are freaking so nonsensical, but they just need to be examined. It is only through our own awareness that we realize we are more than anything we've been constricted to be.
Yeah, and how does that affect relationships? If you're in the man box and you're wearing a mask, how does that reflect? What are the relationships like then?
They're built on lies. They're built on masks. And eventually those masks dissolve. And I do, and a lot of men, if they're fortunate to have a spouse that also feels like their best friend, they'll admit to their spouse things that they've never admitted to anyone else. But that's a lot of weight for a spouse to carry, right? So ideally, a guy has a good circle of men, be it a men's group or just close friends or a sports team, whatever it might be, to share everything. Like, nobody can carry the weight of our own emptiness, right? I can't expect my wife to carry my unworthiness, to carry my brokenness, if that's how I view myself. And I did for a long time. So a man might finally open up and share to a spouse. And then if it's not well received, I've met many guys that have had one experience where they felt and they expressed and the woman shut them down for it. And then they blame all women. So all women want me to be emotional and then they shut me down when I am. I'm like, no, was it one? Was it two? It's not all, right? I don't represent all men. No woman represents all women.
Right. And how would you go about finding a woman or a man, anyone that is able to not judge, right? I mean, what if I'm the one who said, I'm not going to do it anymore? Give me some tips on how can I get back in there without being hurt? I mean, I might say, I'm not going to be hurt. What can I do?
Yeah, you've got to be willing to be wrong. You've got to be willing to be hurt. I mean, go back to Shakespeare, right? It's better to love and to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Because it is. That part of the juice of life is taking those risks. It's being vulnerable because the payoff is so beautiful, right? Love is worth pursuing. It really is. And it's not going to show up to you just because you're shut down. But I find that the more willing you are to be open and honest first with yourself, if I don't know who I am, if I don't know what my values are, it's really hard for me to really engage with someone else authentically. So a lot of people go out and if you're looking for someone to share emotions with, like it's not going to be in a bar, It's not going to be at the crack house. Like, you got to be comfortable in your own skin to be able to open up and connect with someone, soul to soul, heart to heart, whatever you want to phrase it. But it's available to everybody.
What are values? Because I have a time, sometimes people ask me that about like, what are values?
They are the qualities that are most important to you. And so a lot of times people live by values, but they were taught to them. They were given to them. So when I'm coaching someone, one of the first sessions I do is I have a values clarify, and we go through it to come down to your top 3 values. And the first time I did that exercise, like 20 years ago, I had security as my top value. And I thought, oh, good, I did my work. But there was pointed out, like, no, security is rooted in fear. That's not like a positive thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how this works. So that my top 3 values are freedom, love, and joy. And knowing my top values helps me make choices quickly, easily, with clarity. Does some opportunity bring me more freedom, love, or joy? Great, then I'll do it. If it doesn't bring me more of one of those 3 things, then it's probably not for me.
I love that, because freedom is a big thing with men. You're thinking that women are going to control them. But if you're in the man box, you're controlling everything. You're doing the controlling, and the thing you don't want to have happen to you, you're doing to others.
Yeah, there is no freedom in the man box. So if you have strict rules about what a man is, and you say freedom is a value, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, you're right. And what about, okay, so let's talk about dating and authentic. So when you're really sharing, I mean, in alignment with core values, can you describe the difference in a superficial relationship and authentic relationship?
Well, so I'm not suggesting that on your first date, you're like, here's all the things that happened to me as a child. Here are my trauma. Like that. I'm not saying that, but it's being willing to be an open heart isn't only sharing sorrows and pain, right? If I limit how low I'm willing to feel, I'm also limiting how high I'm willing to feel. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The human experience is bipolar. It is up and down. But ideally, we have higher highs and higher lows. That's the growth of life, right? So in dating, I'm gonna use a different example. I've met so many people that while they're courting, they put on a mask, and people pretend to be interested in what the other person says they're interested in to try to get the second date, the third date. So I'm like, don't base your relationship on lies. They might seem little thing, but like, what am I actually interested in? Go do those things. You're gonna most likely meet people if they're openly, honestly interested in that thing too. You're gonna have some connection. So if I'm meeting someone as like a speed dating or something, it's a conscious or it's an app, and I'm really dating people, just be open and honest about what you value, what you love to do, and find someone that also loves those things.
Right. I mean, that's a good starting point. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people get so caught up in the superficial trap, and they're not aware of it. So, and also, I don't know.
People are aware of it. Like, you feel it. Like, I know you've had the experience of you meet someone and right away, without words, like, oh, I'm really drawn to them. Like, energy is contagious. Energy that's not like our own energy is repulsive. So you can meet someone and like, oh, that's what my first date with my wife. I knew she was the one. It was so stereotypical. Like, oh my God, this stereotype is real. And we've been married almost 30 years. But I remember that first moment, like, holy crap, I'm going to marry this woman. And I thought that was mythology.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, like when you meet someone and everything is boom, 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 in alignment, it's like, oh my God, where have you been my whole life?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. And it's so different than the superficial games. It's just like right on connection,
So I always say, let your experience overpower opinions, judgments of yourself or others, right? Because it's other people's opinions and judgments that are saying, I'm going after this type of person. I need that type of person. Like, no, like sink into your heart. I would love so much to meet this type of person, and trust it and go for it. And if you have to meet 10,000 people that aren't that person, well, no, you're getting closer. Like Edison. These aren't 10,000 failures. They're just 10,000 things that didn't work.
Right. Yeah. And so you're talking about intuition here and in connectedness. So how would someone connect to, if they've been shutting down their emotions for this whole time, they don't even, how do they get back into knowing what I'm feeling? Like, I don't know feelings anymore. What's the first step for that?
The first thing is, if you think you're having some emotion, there's some sensation that you don't know what to name, what it is. So I always ask, like, well, where in the body is it? Right. So, all right, it's in my hip. All right. So is it pain? Is it tightness? Is it stiffness? Like, get into the physical sensation of it, and then try to give it a name. That's all. And you just didn't wait till later. Like, oh, now I'm feeling happy. Hey, is your hip talking to you? No, it's not my hip. What feels happy? Oh, yeah, I feel happiness in my chest. Oh, all right. Then don't worry about labels, but just notice that different parts of you feel differently, and that the mental perception of something can correspond to a physical thing. But they're also like emotion wheels. Get a thesaurus. If all you've ever been taught is that you're allowed to be angry, hungry, or horny, then yeah, you're not going to know what to label these other different sensations and experiences you have. Another top thing is journaling. I was recommended by different counselors for at least a dozen years to journal. And I thought that meant, dear diary, and like a little 12-year-old girl with my, my pink fluffy troll pen or something. I was like, that's ridiculous, not doing it. I finally did it, and I felt better. So again, I learned to trust my experience, not the BS judgments I have about things I haven't done. So journaling, gratitude listing, affirmations. My first experience with affirmations, I would just try to look at my own eyes, hold my gaze in the mirror, and I couldn't, because I thought I sucked so much. So I say, Andy, I love you. And I couldn't do that. That would bring me to tears. And eventually I could do it. And now I catch my reflection in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, there you go. How you doing? Hey. And again, when something brings us levity, that's when I know that I've healed something. But there are a lot of low barrier things. Again, physical sensation, trying to figure out different emotions, just realizing that different feelings and sensations live in different places. And you can see if it's a uniform thing. Like, do I always feel lightness in my heart? Do I always feel anger in my hip? Like, whatever it might be for you. But just allow your awareness to rise and your judgments to fall.
Now, are there any bad emotions?
No. Emotions are neither good nor bad. Emotions are our internal GPS system. So to me, feeling bad just means, oh, I'm doing something that I know isn't good for me, right? Feeling bad can also just be a really painful temporary circumstance. Feeling bad does not mean I'm bad. But that's what I used to think, right? I didn't think I had depression. I thought I am depression. And when I had good moments in life, because life, even as a kid, when I was very suicidal, there were still days that were excellent, but I thought those were the lie. I thought the depression, the misery, the horror of life, that's reality. Anybody that's happy is lying to themselves. Then I realized I would rather be happy than be right. So I'm glad that I was wrong, that life sucks, then you die. Life is freaking magnificent. Life is meant to be joyous. But you've got to embrace all of it, right? Too many people, men especially, there's a negative emotion in their life. They'll touch it and retreat. Touch it and retreat. Only by diving into and through our shame, our sorrow, our grief, is there a better feeling emotion on the other side.
Well, how do you hold those emotions? Like, I mean, how do you, if it's just so immense, what do you do with it? Does that make sense?
You can't hold it. That's why the suicide rate is high. That's why the violent rate is high. That's why drug abuse and drinking are all high, because we can't hold it. It is meant to move.
How do you move it? How do you move it out?
By feeling it, by journaling, by looking in the mirror and saying you love yourself, even when you think it's bullshit and it's a lie. Tears will come. You've got to let it release. And again, I don't recommend this path, but before I could legally drink, age 14, 15, I would get drunk alone so that I could cry. I could feel it all stuck in me. And I'm like, how do I get rid of this? And that was my path of least resistance, was alcohol abuse, so I could feel.
Yeah, because that's really allowed. I mean, it's okay for men to get drunk, right? There are things that are okay. Men to be, like you said, horny, get drunk, be angry, right? That's okay. Yeah. But then the other side of it. And so if you're not feeling those big emotions, if you're shutting down, you're not going to feel the joy as well.
Right. Again, I want to redefine masculinity so that joy is a part of it. It should feel good to be a man, right? Men exist to provide, to protect. Men want to be of service. Men want to be validated. Men want to be thanked and appreciated. If you thank the men in your life for doing whatever they did, they'll do it again. We can be like dogs at that point. You pat us on the head, say, good doggy. We're like, oh, good, I'll do that again, right? We're pretty simple. Where we get all screwed up is when this man buck says we're only allowed to feel three things, because we can learn more tricks than dogs. But we do want to be praised. We want validation. We want to be seen and accepted. But saying that out loud is dangerous. One of the things I wish more men knew was that it was okay to have needs, to need something, to need someone, to desire praise, to desire feedback, to desire camaraderie, right? This false stoicism that says, I have to do it alone. I'm on my own. I can't trust anyone. And that's all nonsense.
That is just, I mean, loneliness is an epidemic. I mean, and now we're talking about people that probably do have friends and things. It's still an epidemic because they might not have someone to share their soul with. But then if we're talking about men that shut down and say, I can't do that, that's even worse.
Yeah. I'll meet guys that say they have friends, but they won't talk about them with the things they talk about me or in a men's group with. So I'm like, well, then what? So many guys, a friend, I mean, someone you sit next to and don't talk about anything with. Like, it's just physical closeness without any authenticity. And that's the closest thing they have to a friend.
Right. Just shooting the breeze, you know? Yeah. I mean, and I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, for me, I have really transformed spiritually lately. So I feel very frustrated with superficial, talk. It's very hard for me to have just a conversation about the weather or, about things like getting your nails done. Now, it seems like I'm always talking about the nails. Now, there's nothing wrong with getting your nails done. Okay. Sometimes I paint my nails, right? But it's not something that I want to talk about. It's just, I want to have a conversation like this. So, yeah. And I see that Mike is here. He's saying happy is great, right? Yeah. I mean, we want to have that full spectrum of emotions where, like where painting your nails isn't the biggest event of the day. I mean, I'll go ahead and put it out there. Maybe there'll be something more exciting than that. I mean, but maybe for you it is. And I don't want to knock anyone here, Yeah.
Whatever brings you joy is great. But if you, again, this is only something your personal integrity can tell you. Am I talking about my nails all the time to avoid the subjects that really feel like they want to come out? Or do I have a nail salon? So yeah, I'm in business. I'm talking about my nails all the time, right?
Right.
There's no strict this or that. And I, again, being a suicidal person, I have very black or white thinking. But life is gray. Life is the in-between, the extremes. It really is.
Yeah, you just hit on a big thing. I mean, it's not black and white. And there's so many grays in between. And how do you navigate the grays? This is the problem. A lot of people are struggling to navigate that gray area. Because the boxes are black and white. Yes, do this. No, do not. Do not look like, don't go out there and act like a boy. Right? Don't be too much of a tomboy, because then no man is going to, they're not going to want to marry you and you'll be an old maid. Right. So yeah, the pressure is immense for both parties. And then when you get together and they don't understand that and they start criticizing, they don't understand the pressure on each one and the masks are up. And then how do you have that? How do you have an authentic relationship with masks? Like you said, if you come to the relationship with masks, then what's going to happen? No wonder the divorce rates are so high.
Right. Ideally, couples come together and grow together. Now, there are a lot of men, I'm sure a lot of women too, that they don't want to grow. The comfort zone is the comfort zone is probably never good for us. It's just where it's meant to be temporary so that we know we can expand that own box. So the man box is one thing. Then we have our self-imposed comfort zone. That's just a different box that we live in. And the thrill of life is beyond the comfort. The thrill of life is to keep expanding your comfort zone. So it's bigger and bigger until it spans the globe. Like there's nothing in the world that I can say, do, think that is not in my comfort zone. I think that's an idealized human. Too many people don't want to be confronted. Too many people don't want to be challenged. Too many people don't want to grow.
And that's a boring life, in my opinion.
Agree. And I think that's what relates to the suicide rate.
Flat.
There is so much wasted potential in any man who is bored. Boredom kills. I always say silence kills men, but boredom is a close second.
That's powerful. Yes. And when you're hollow inside, that's boredom. When you don't feel your emotions, you've flattened everything down. That's just going to come out, and it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt others. It's not going to come out as repressed emotions are not going to come out in a positive way. And that's hollow, and that's a flat life. And men are walking around with flat lives. I mean, I see it all the time. Men that I respect, I ask them, well, tell me, what did you feel about it? And they don't answer with feeling. They'll answer, well, I thought this. No, what did you feel? I don't know. And then they'll say, how did you feel about getting that award? Oh, well, I didn't feel anything. Or, what do you mean you didn't feel, or I didn't feel any different than before I got it? What do you mean you didn't feel any? You got an award. You didn't feel gratitude or joy? No, I felt nothing before or after. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. But that's what men are taught. And men will attempt to think our emotions. So, and women are much more open and feeling them in the heart. So it's not wrong when men say that, but you can dig deeper. Well, what do you think you felt? Right? If there was an emotion behind that thought, what do you think it might be? So it's just ask more open, to give them a second chance, to give them the chance to go deeper. Because that's what, men meet each other and we sniff each other's butts like dogs, and we both just agree we're fine and everything's great, and we walk away. But if you take a little more time, like how are you? Really? Oh, you're inviting me to go deeper. Oh, okay. Well, how I am really is today's not the best day. X, Y, or Z are happening. I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of concerned about things, right? But too much of superficiality is told that that's, again, part of the man box. Weather, sports, sex, food, the end of discussion.
Right. And then women become objects. Others become objects, right? Easy to discard. In fact, I dare say that, it's fine to say, hey, well, you know what? She was whatever, you know what I mean? Just a disposable object. And that is many times okay for men to talk about that, disposing a woman.
Yep. But if you really sat a man down and they opened up and were authentic, I've met so many guys that regret living that lifestyle. And they took it, again, down in the core, it doesn't feel good, but they're told that's what matters.
Yeah.
Look at all the women I've been with. I am a man. Right. And it can be nonsense.
Right. Well, you're right. One of my friends was telling me that today, that's it in the fraternity, however many women you scored, that's what it was. That's what being a man is, scoring women.
There is a competitive nature to being a man. But like you mentioned earlier, in a men's group, that's when the competitive nature in a men's group comes up, because the one man shares something and is on the verge of tears or cries and shares something. And then the competitive nature kicks in, and other men, I'm going to share something deep now. That's the game we're playing. All right, here's my stuff. Blah, right? So that's when it can be beneficial. But again, superficiality with competitiveness, that's self-destructive behavior of all day, every day.
Right. And the suicide rate is high in young boys, and hearing, well, they're at that age. So I heard that recently about some people in my family. Well, that's the age they're in. No, this is not okay. I don't care what age they're in. They are in jeopardy, right? Shutting down, lashing out. It doesn't matter how old they are, or you want to say this is typical. That's why we end up with suicide.
Yeah. If you have kids and they don't feel comfortable in saying anything and everything to you, then you have put some sort of false constriction around them. Right. And it's time to look at yourself again. Like if you don't feel free, if you're not living the best life you can, don't you want better for your kids? Like, be willing to not just pass on the same box and narrow-mindedness to the next generation.
Right. Yeah. That we got to be self-aware and take responsibility. And so I have many regrets. I know. Well, that's a great step. I have many too. I have many too. And I'm sure, I'm not saying that people don't. I'm saying that I have made a choice to forgive myself. And that's the only way I'm here on this show, is because I chose to have self-compassion when I hated myself, right? I didn't even know what to do. I had to look up the word self-compassion. Then I found the book Self-Compassion. And that was my start, because I was just like, I don't know what to do anymore. I've hated myself for years and years and years. And, I'm sure you can relate. Like, how do you live like this? You can't.
Right. Yeah. But no one else can fix that too. Nobody can love me enough to make up for my lack of self-love. It wasn't until that I loved myself fully and deeply that I was ready for a healthy, honest relationship. But too many people, we put the work onto somebody else. Fix me, heal me, love me. And you can't do that for yourself, then it's doomed.
And then many times we picked up and we're taking it with us, like what the other person said, like what our parents said about us. They said, you'll never make it, you'll never be anything, right? And so I just carry that around with me on my back for years. You'll never make it, you'll never amount to anything, right? And so you have to really look at who is saying this. Who are you believing, and where did it come from, and why are you still believing it?
Right. Again, let your experience overpower the messages, the thoughts that you're outgrowing, that you're proving were wrong.
Yeah. Well, I feel a lot of freedom having this conversation. So let us know if you have any questions. Again, I know I sound like I'm just harping on it. And also subscribe. And wait, what channel? Let's talk about your channels and everything.
All right. So Real Men Feel is the podcast. If you visit realmenfeel.org, you'll see all the various platforms that it's on. Boy, I'm up to episode 380 coming out tomorrow. All of my personal things, you can learn about my books, Still Here, How to Succeed at Life After Failing at Suicide. Visit theandygrant.com to see classes. I have a men's community called Authentic AF, and all the things I'm up to there. But, my mission is to make suicide a rarity. So that's why I'm open and authentic. And I think the more men that are, the better we all are. The world doesn't need less masculinity. The world needs more healthy, good men. And, there were comments we were talking about regrets earlier. I don't have any regrets. I don't mean that from some holier than thou place, but I don't have regrets because right here, right now, I love me. I really do. And I don't recommend my path to anyone, but it somehow worked for me. So I can't say which one I should fix or change or do a different choice, because then I don't know that I end up here loving myself.
I love that. Yes, you're right. Because you wouldn't be who you are if you didn't walk that path. And now you're helping people, right? Which I'm sure you wouldn't have given up that, because what a huge gift you are. And there's so many men that need you. It's exciting that you're doing the work you're doing. And now let's talk about something that could be looked at as hocus pocus, or something that I am in tune with also, right? This kind of la stuff, about energy work. Now, what is that, right? Energy work.
So energy work, well, it's better experienced than explained, but energy work is doing any of the things that can't be seen or touched. But we are all doing energy work all the time. Our eyes convert energy into sights and sensations in our brain. Our ears pick up vibrations and convert them into things and thoughts, and we decide what words we're hearing in music, right? So, and people have no problem believing their phone can just magically, through the magic air, connect to anything in the world. But somehow if I say, I can read your energy, I can bring in more energy to your body and clear those emotions, clear that stuckness. Oh, that's crazy. That's woo-woo. And to believe that's fine. Again, everything I do on a daily basis, I made fun of for years. Then I tried it and I had, whoa, this stuff is real. Whoa, I feel better. That's what matters to me. So if feeling better matters to you and you've never had any experience with energy work, it can be Reiki, it could be meditation, it could be, there's no limit. Part of the introduction, I'm a high-level initiate and healer with a modern mystery school. I have I've taken a crazy path that I don't recommend. I was a seeker all my life. And first I found affirmations. I got some benefit. I've done EFT, got some benefit. But all those sort of things were like addressing the symptom. And it wasn't until life activation and these in-person healings, the mystery school is over 4,000 years old. The healings in that lineage are over 3,000 years old and have a long history of producing good results. And they are the best tools that I have found. They're just completely transformative, and it's rooted in energy. Every disease, every thought begins as energy. Everything surrounding me in this room was first a thought in someone's mind. That's energy, right? That's the quantum field, where everything's a wave and a particle at the same time. It's just potential. So we are all limitless potential. What we choose to focus on, what we choose, the actions we choose, the words we use are on ourselves first and then outwardly. It is literally creating the life that we live.
And that's what you're attracting, of course. I mean, in those relationships, right? If you're wearing a mask and you have that the mask energy is heavy, right? And you're going to attract the same thing.
Yeah. If you're lying to yourself, you will attract other people that are lying to themselves. And you might decide, well, that's the best we can do. You know, we get along each other half the time. Almost when both of our masks drop at the same time. Oh, I think I love this person. Then they come back on and it's an act. But, you know, authenticity rules the day. Ideally, me and my wife were not into energy work at all when we met. We both grew and studied and expanded as people. I grew up without any religious upbringing. I thought that made me an atheist. Then I had that first experience in what I'll call the first time I heard God, my higher self, source, universe. I don't care what you call it. But when you admit that something else beyond your physical body exists, that when I realized that I am more than just this meat suit, when I realized my emotions are not just chemistry, that my thoughts create my chemistry, and then that drives my life, that was life-changing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're talking on a different level, right? A different level. And that connectedness, I mean, that's what you're going to attract, someone on a different level. And I love what you said about growth. You grow together, because I've been in relationships where I'm growing and my partner's just staying here and it doesn't last. Right. I have to leave and they don't get it. They don't understand. Why are you leaving? Because I'm not being fulfilled, and they don't get it because they're still down here.
Yep. And it is great and beautiful to outgrow relationships, friends, family, loved ones, whatever it is, because you can inspire them to grow later. Might be at the same pace as you, but like, wow, look how great Margarita's doing. How is she doing that? Maybe it's just interesting enough that they try to follow you at some point, right? But to stay in the muck, to stay wearing a mask, once you're aware that it's a mask, but you stay there to appease the people around you, yeah, that is no good. You are not helping them, and you're sure not helping yourself.
Yeah. And that's something that a lot of people are afraid to do. When you realize you've outgrown a friendship, right? It's okay to let go of a friendship, right? And when you realize, wait, this person isn't meeting me on my level, right? They're not understanding me, and it's perfectly fine. That's part of life, outgrowing, and there's nothing wrong with it.
It is much easier to help people out by being above and giving them a hand, pulling them up, than it is to get under them and try to put them on your shoulders. And, that's what too many people try to do. It is not selfish to put yourself first, right? I, filled up, feeling joy, feeling love, having the best energy we can, that helps everybody around us. Me believing that life sucks, then you die, me living an apathetic life, helps nobody. But it might make other apathetic people feel okay, because look, he's just like us, doing nothing.
Doing nothing. Doing nothing. Oh, come on, get alive. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't stand
it. And so many people can't stand it, so they try to end it. They don't know they can feel better. And I'm just telling you, I've been at the bottom. I believed I was better off dead. I believed the people in my life would be better off with me gone. I thought they'd just worry about me. I thought I was a drain on everyone that knew me. And they're all just lies. I told myself to stay in the miserable comfort zone that I was in.
Yeah. And if you don't have any skills, I mean, we're not taught to feel. We're not taught relational skills as children.
We don't need to be taught it. We were taught not to. Feeling is natural.
You're right. We came perfect.
A baby lights up a room. That's energy, right? That is a being full of light, full of their potential, right? Babies intuitively know to cry to get attention, to smile to get some love and affection, get someone to play with me, get someone to feed me, all the different things, all their needs met, until disgruntled adults feel disrupted by all that potential and start to cramp it down. Be like us. Accept what is. Don't change things, right? If learning to walk. We all fall down multiple times. And so many other things, like if we had the same judgment and attitude as we do now as when we were babies, we're like, oh, I tried to walk once. Screw that. I give up. But that's how most adults treat things.
I know. I think I talk about that a lot too. The terrible twos, get out of my way, right? Why can't we get that energy back? You're right. That baby is going to fall down and not give up. They're not going to beat themselves up. They're just going to get up and do it. You're right. We were born with everything we need. It's that society shuts us down.
Right. Yep. And guys will focus on the physicality. I'm going to get in shape, going to get up at 4 a.m, go to the gym. But there's more to us. There's our energy body, our emotional body, our mental body. It's not just physicality, but that can be the way for men. And often that's why sports can show up. Like if I do something physical with someone, it tears me down, it breaks down some barriers, and then I can tell someone how I really feel. I can really cry, win or lose a game or a match or anything. But, for women that want to talk to their man, let him do something. Well, he's doing some activity. If the worst way to talk to a man is like, honey, we need to talk. He's like, whoa, that's fear. And he just
that scares me. Oh my gosh.
So you got to come in sideways and just let them have some physical activity, a puzzle, go for a walk, have that conversation you want to have. But that's you got to get in sideways.
Yeah, definitely. I had a guy tell me that too. Definitely. Don't start like that. Yeah, it's frightening. Building those safe spaces and realizing that you're two human beings, right? That have been hurt. And this is not, I'm not perfect. So like I say, I'm not looking for someone that's perfect. Right? Just forget that. If I have a checklist of this, forget it. It's not, that's not going to work.
Right. Yeah. If you have a goals list, an aspirations list, a desires list, any people that have similar lists, great. But yeah, perfect means it's done. If we're done, we're gone. Right?
Boring.
So there's more to do, more to feel, more to create, more to attract. Like we're still here. Like I believe the point of our lives is to expand. We love new things, curiosity. Your intuition is always calling you forward to more in life. So you can be grateful for everything you have and know that there's more, right? It's not either or.
Right. And our brain is always growing. So when we just shut it, we just say, okay, well, I'm old now and I'm tired. I'm not going to do anything else. What's going to happen when I'm in my 50s, right? Or, oh gosh, I'm dreading the 60s, I better shut down then. That would be only 2 more years for me. So
I've met so many people that told me almost every age was where it starts going downhill. I'm in my 50s. It hasn't started going downhill, but I was told growing up, like, after I had a part-time job as a zombie for Halloween. 18-year-olds were telling 21-year-olds they were ancient. I was like, you're going to be 21. It's ridiculous to put something wrong about aging to be at a different age. But I was told it's all downhill from 30. It's all downhill from 35. It's all downhill from 40. Every decade of my life has been better than the prior one. So I think the people that saying, it's people like my dad that think life peaked in high school. And if your life peaked in high school and you are decades removed from that, that is really sad. And I would take you to take that as initiative to do something different, because it shouldn't be. Again, life is meant to get better and better. We are meant to feel more and more, appreciate more and more, have more gratitude, have more joy. That's life.
Oh, you're right. I just saw someone say that too. My best days weren't in college. What does that mean? This is a person with a family. What in the heck does that mean?
What message is that saying? Yeah.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yes. And the growth. Where's the growth? So many people are not interested in growing, or even, I don't know. Do they think about it? I don't know.
I bet at some point they thought hard to stop it. Or they were scolded, got in trouble for growing, to dare go outside their family's version of the box that they were in.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. The family box. That's another box to escape. Yep. I've escaped it. I'm the black sheep, I think. That's okay.
More than okay.
Yeah.
That's who creates things. The inventors, the mystics, the philosophers, right? Everything. People appreciate new technology. Well, it took someone stepping out of the box of how everything used to work to get there. Right?
Right. Right. Yes. All right, listen, this is cracking me up, but I'm very enthused. Come on, people.
Woo.
You can do it. You can do it. Get out of that flat life, put your foot in the water, take a risk. I mean, life is too beautiful to just be in a dull, flat life. And look at how beautiful you are. Start, like Andy said, say, hey, I love you, right? Look at yourself. I love that. So, Andy, tell us again, and tell us your final last words, your final words, and where people can get a hold of you.
Just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. Right. And that's the biggest thing I had to learn about my suicidal thoughts. I thought those shots stood up because I was supposed to do something about them. Our brain exists to answer questions. If you don't like how you're thinking and feeling, ask better questions. Right. And if you want help asking better questions, listen to Real Men Feel. Visit realmenfeel.org to learn more about that. And if you want to explore my books, my coaching, my community, that's at theandygrant.com.
Wonderful. And so this is a proof of how you can feel the energy. I'm bouncing off of your energy. So anybody that doesn't believe energy work is real, well, it's right here in person. We're and we're giving it to you.
Run with it.
Well, thank you so much, and for coming on the show. You'll have to come back. And thanks. We've got JJ and Mike for watching. I'm really appreciative, and everyone on the replay. And go check out Andy's links and watch his show. Very powerful stuff. So thanks again, Andy.
Awesome. My pleasure.
Bye-bye, everyone.